A pleasant good evening to one and all. Welcome to this special sitting of the National Assembly. We will begin this evening's proceedings with a prayer by Pastor Leon Matthew.
Psalms 139 verses 13 and 14 says, "For thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well." Let us pray. Abba Father, we exalt your name above all else this evening, for you alone are God. We are grateful for the opportunity to gather here this evening. Thank you for the young men and women who we honor. We place them before you, asking that your hands of preservation, love, empowerment, and blessing remain on their lives. Father, we are thankful for the loved ones who played a vital role in assisting them to this juncture. We pray for their continual support, even now as these teens transition to adulthood and its harsh realities. God, in those times when they feel the pressures of life and the thoughts of despair start creeping in, may they be comforted by your words which say, you will never leave them nor forsake them. God, we rebuke the spirit of illusions and distractions that would want to cause these young flames to deviate from their goals, dreams, and visions. At the end of their various journeys, may they never become proud and haughty, but as they sip on the sweet nectar of success, may the truth always resound that it was you who brought them a mighty long way. These things we ask in no other name but your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Leon Matthew, and he is from the People's Evangelistic Center. You may be seated.
Messages from the Governor General.
As per usual, His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton, Governor General, has offered a message to the 25 most remarkable teens on this their special occasion. We have invited Mr. Jaden Munzak, who is a part of the Youth Ambassador Corps, to read the message from His Excellency.
Government House, St. Christopher and Nevis. Message from the Governor General. Honorable Speaker and honorable members of the National Assembly, I wish to take this opportunity to offer congratulations and commendations to the 25 most remarkable teens being honored at this special sitting. This year's cohort once again demonstrates issues ranging from school pride, sports, and academics, the culinary arts, to coping positively with challenges. The range and scope of the activities successfully pursued by the awardees is indeed impressive. I have only enumerated some of these, but they all represent youth in action, overcoming obstacles in this challenging COVID-19 environment. I urge all 25 of you and other aspirants to continue on your journey. This acclaim is but the first step in reinforcing your citizenship and patriotism. Again, my sincerest congratulations. Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton, GCMG, CVO, QC, JP, LLD, Governor General, St. Christopher and Nevis, November 25, 2020.
Thank you very much, Jalen. Next item, please.
Announcements by the Speaker.
My brief announcement this evening takes the form of simply welcoming you here to this special occasion where we honor 25 most remarkable teens in the Federation. Each and every year, during the month of November, the Department of Youth Empowerment, in conjunction with the Parliament, put together this ceremony to honor the youths of our land. Honorable members, and in particular, Minister Jonel Powell, who's the Minister responsible for youth empowerment, the 25 most remarkable teens, clerk, deputy clerk, and support staff of the Parliament, profile readers, staff of the Ministry of Youth Empowerment, specially invited guests, welcome. At the outset, I want to say to you, because I could recall in years gone by, when I presided over this ceremony, I forgot to sort of set the tone, meaning, yes, this is a special sitting of Parliament. Yes, Parliament could be a very serious occasion and place to be, but tonight is a time to celebrate and honor 25 most remarkable teens. So I invite you to relax, sit back. Whereas during a regular parliamentary session, we don't have participation from the invited guests, tonight I invite you to participate. Feel free to cheer, applaud, because it's deserving, or the youths are deserving of this. I wouldn't want you to scream like we have at graduation ceremonies, so you're free to express yourself, but not at the level that we sometimes witness at, like I said, graduation ceremonies. So relax, put away the tension, and let's enjoy the evening. In any democratic society, there are pretty much three branches of government. The executive, made up of cabinet and ministers and permanent secretaries. There's the judiciary, the court, the judges, the lawyers, and there's the legislature, the Parliament. We hear a lot now about the media being one of those branches, because the media definitely do influence what happens in a country in terms of the democracy at work. But Parliament is one of those institutions, one of the highest institutions of the land. Some say on equal footing as the other two branches, the judiciary and the executive. So I say that to say that Parliament, being one of the most esteemed institutions in our land, have seen it fit, or has seen it fit over the years, to have this ceremony to honor 25 most remarkable teens. And to me, I say that it must be commended, and the teens themselves should be honored that all 11 elected representatives plus 4 senators look forward each year to having this ceremony through which they are honored, they are acknowledged for some of their endeavors at their young age. So indeed, I see it as a very special occasion. That is why we refer to it as a special sitting of the National Assembly. This sitting is no different from a regular sitting, except that we are not passing bills or debating bills. But it is a sitting, it is a formal sitting of our National Assembly. And so you 25 most remarkable teens should feel honored that we're having this sitting and session this evening. Thank you. Next item, please.
Statement by Minister. The Honorable John L. Powell will make a statement in his capacity as Minister of Youth.
If it pleases you, Mr. Speaker, through you, I particularly would like to acknowledge and welcome our 25 most remarkable teens for 2020, along with their parents and supporters. It is with undeniable pride that I, as the Minister with responsibility for youth empowerment, stand here with all of you in this honorable house this evening, November 26, 2020, to pay homage to outstanding and upstanding young people who illuminate our Federation. These young inspirations who have, in their own unique ways, demonstrated their value and contributed to the growth of both self and community. This evening is testimony that regardless of the circumstances, the young people of St. Kitts and Nevis possess the creativity, innovation, and resilience, not only to make a difference, but to effect needed change in the face of adversities. I am therefore honored to celebrate these remarkable young individuals. Mr. Speaker, this evening marks the 10th occasion when we, the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, share common ground, where we stand unified in our applaud and celebration of our young people. Young people who are creative, principled, industrious, well-educated, skilled, empathetic, community-spirited, service-oriented, and so much more. When the curtains are closed this evening, we will have recognized the 250th remarkable teen. Our youths are not immune or isolated from the ills and pressures of society. Coping in an ever-evolving world as a changing physical, emotional, and social being has never been easy. As a result, many succumb to the lure of peer pressure, antisocial community influences, the strains of poverty, and the pains of abuse. Our modern world, though it presents our youth with amenities and opportunities that relieve them of several hardships that their parents face as youth, it also bombards them with significant distractions and avenues to amplify negative and destructive influences. Then comes the year 2020, a year that tests every strand of faith and resilience in each one of us. Yet our young people remain firm and focused despite these challenges. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is truly remarkable indeed. Mr. Speaker, what is most exceptional about these teens whom we celebrate this evening is that many of them are phoenixes who rose from the ashes of bleak circumstances and overcame personal tragedies to achieve this recognition. This, in and of itself, is a clear indication of their innate ability to harness their intrinsic and available extrinsic motivators as they created their niches in life. Permit me to offer encouragement and upliftment to those young persons who have also contributed significantly to their communities and society, but unfortunately were not selected this time around. Their contributions are not diminished or any less valuable. I urge them to continue to be self-aware and to continue their pursuit for purpose greater than themselves. I share the poignant word of a Chinese proverb with them, and I quote, A bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of the branch breaking because her trust is not in the branch, but in its own wings. Always believe in yourselves, unquote. Mr. Speaker, in very short order, we will be afforded a glimpse into the remarkable lives of so far lived by our young awardees. Tonight, we will be enthralled by stories of determination, perseverance in the face of overwhelming odds. We will hear stories of commitment to the well-being of the less fortunate and the upliftment of their communities. Stories of ordinary young people doing extraordinary things for the betterment of self and the greater good of their nation. As the nation pauses tonight to witness and exalt the most remarkable of our teens for 2020, it is imperative to highlight that these outstanding individuals are the products of strong and supportive environments, rich with the love and encouragement. Hence, allow me to extend boundless gratitude on behalf of the ministry and government of St. Kitts and Nevis to the village that nurtured each and every one of these young persons. The village where the parents, assisted by siblings and extended family members, laid the solid foundation with teachers, coaches, community leaders, mentors, peers, and acquaintances as equally strong pillars of support. Their empowering sources of encouragement, both tangible and intangible, unearthed the optimality in these 25 praiseworthy awardees. Therefore, I want to commend the ladies and gentlemen of the gallery for being among the key driving forces behind the young awardees. We salute each of you present this evening for the significant roles that you have played in molding these young men and women into model citizens worthy of emulation by their peers and of praise by all of us. Whatever the relationship, it did not define or deter your efforts. You saw it worthwhile to invest your personal time and energies to nurture, mentor, guide, teach, scold, encourage, uplift, and recognize them as the assets to society that they are. Mr. Speaker, this evening's ceremony is an integral part of the Ministry of Youth Empowerment and the government's commitment to the principles of positive youth development. This is an approach to youth development that recognizes the intrinsic value of young people as assets and partners in our country's development. I take this opportunity to implore my fellow citizens to take a moment and recognize our own individual biases and prejudices towards our young people. Let us instead make a deliberate effort to acknowledge their unique challenges and offer meaningful encouragement, guidance, and support as they navigate the challenges of life on their journey towards success. For it is in this success that we should trust, as we each inevitably and confidently feed the reins of leadership into their hands. It is our responsibility to ensure that their hands, hearts, and minds are empowered and prepared to hold these reins of leadership and stewardship of our land of beauty. Mr. Speaker, allow me to highlight Priority Domain 5 of the St. Kitts and Nevis Federal Youth Policy 2017 to 2022, which speaks to the youth as agents of democracy, development, and nation building, with the corresponding policy goal being to integrate and empower young people fully for genuine youth-led action as trusted partners in community and national development and decision-making. It is often said that young people are the future of any nation or society. While this is indeed true, it represents merely a portion of a much larger truth. The reality is, and has been, that young people constitute the foundation of effective development. Finally, although a momentous occasion, Mr. Speaker, let this evening be simply one of a magnitude of instances of acknowledgement, commendation, and support of our nation's most valuable resource, our youth. It was Tata Nelson Mandela who reminded us, and I quote, "Young people are capable, when aroused, of bringing down the towers of oppression and raising the banners of freedom," unquote. With these few words in mind and with much humility, I present the 2020 25 most remarkable teens. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister Powell.
Public business. This would take the form of the reading of individual profiles by current CARICOM Youth Ambassadors, followed by award presentation by members of Parliament.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we go to the presentations by the honorable members and followed by the awarding of the token to the youths, each of the invited guests should have booklets, I think. We're given booklets, yes. And these booklets would have the a more extensive profile of the 25 most remarkable teens. And so, in the interest of time, the readers would give a very brief profile, like a synopsis of the profile that's in the booklet, and then the members presenting would say a few words before they hand over the award. We will follow the order that was attached to the order paper, so we may not necessarily follow exactly what's in the inside cover of the booklet. And so, having said that, I think it's now only left for me to get the ball rolling and call on the first reader. And before I begin calling names and so on, just to warn or alert our invited guests that each year we have a little fun with the names. I have not studied the names at all, so I thought I'd be brave enough to try to pronounce them at first sight. So you'll bear with me and correct me as we go along. I hope none of the youths feel offended if I'm to mispronounce any of their names, but I assure them we do have fun with this part of it each year. Having said all that, first on our list this evening is yes, is Miss Devonsi Clark. So the first one I'm wrong? Okay, Devonsia. Miss Devonsia Clark, who is being rewarded for spiritual commitment. The reader of her profile will be male CARICOM Ambassador, Mr. Dwayne Hendrickson. I'm sorry? Okay. I guess we need to do a little housekeeping. Are we looking at order of sequence, order of ceremony? The document marked order of ceremony at the top? Oh, there's a change. Okay, Madam Clerk, introduce the reader and then we'll take it from there.
The reader for the first profile is Ms. Denola Laplace, CARICOM Youth Ambassador.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Devonsia Clark of the Keon High School, a recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Spiritual Commitment. In spite of being mocked and teased as a result of her faith, Devonsia is steadfast in her devotion to God Almighty. She believes that the negativity that she hears can do no harm, for on the inside she knows who she is and to whom she belongs. Devancia is passionate about her faith and wants to strive. A proud and avid member of the Liberty New Testament Church of God, Clark possesses a mature aura and has a keen sense of responsibility. She is leader of the Christian club at her school, Keon High, a member in the Malville Explorers Club in her community, and gives at the Christian Community Mission. Clark writes songs and wishes to publish in the near future. Currently, she is working on a book entitled Breaking Free. She is joyful that church has resumed, irrespective of the new measures in order to be safe. Devancia has a message for all to remain steadfast in truth rather than succumb to the superficially obvious. Clark has no regrets as a devout Christian living a purposeful life. She insists that she is willing to do anything to advance in the kingdom of God. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. And Ms. Clark would be awarded by the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise with your leave, and I would wish to extend congratulations to all 25 of the honorees. Could we give them all a round of applause? On account of COVID, we are here at this church, and I thought how fitting it is tonight that we should start honoring our young people. And in this regard, Devancia Clark comes first to be honored, and her area is spiritual commitment. I thought that this was important. And when we listened to and read her profile, we appreciate that Ms. Clark has been through a lot, quite a lot. And yet, thanks be to God, she is here standing and shining as one of the 25 most talented and remarkable teens. Give her again a special round of applause. I would just want to commend her, wish her well in the future. I believe her deep spirituality would certainly be the fount and which she must draw as she faces life challenges, difficulties, and opportunities. We hear of her courage, and we are reminded of Esther. We hear of her faith, and we are reminded of Job. Devancia has been very close to her father, who at this time is in Guyana, and he had gone through a very terrible and frightening ordeal, which must have shook her very foundation. Thanks to her loving mother, Abby, she has been able to hold it together. So her presence here is both a testimony to the strong family values to which she has been introduced by her parents, her mother in particular, and so I want to congratulate her, wish her well, wish the family well, and hope someday her father, who had gone through that nightmare in his homeland of Guyana, will be able to return to his adopted home and to shower her and his wife Abby with all the loving care and attention. So it's a pleasure that I now present this token of appreciation to Devancia Clark, 25 most remarkable teens in St. Kitts and Nevis, November 2020.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister, and congrats to Ms. Clark. The next honoree is Ms. Ganaya Brown, and her profile will be read by...
Speaker,
Yes.
it's a second person.
Okay, I need... Taiwanese Morton?
Yes, Speaker.
Okay, so we're following this now then.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, my apologies. The next honoree is Miss Taiwanese Morton, and her profile will be read by a member of the CARICOM Youth Ambassador Corps, Mr. Shane Venner.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Tijwanique Morton of the Washington Archibald High, recipient of a remarkable teen award in the category of sports. Morton, although tremendously talented, views sports as ambassadorial, therefore priding herself on delivery as presentation is key. She insists that to be an athlete is to be strong both in body and in spirit. Morton has amassed a record that can only be described as impressive. During her first year in high school, Morton was able to attain the title of Victress Lodorum, setting many new records. She has dominated the 100-meter and 200-meter at the TDC Interschool Championship from first to fourth form. She has represented the country in Bermuda at the Caribbean Union of Teachers Championship. At this event, she set 2 new records in both the 100-meter and 200-meter. Morton subsequently qualified for the Carifta Games in Bahamas in 2018 and the Cayman Islands in 2019. In 2020, Tijwanique became the first athlete in the Federation to qualify with a time of 12.15 seconds at the first ever Twilight Meet held in St. Kitts. She loves interacting with younger athletes and is inspired by their enthusiasm and excitement. She is happy to give back in this way. Tijwanique wants everyone to know that she works hard for what she has achieved and will continue to do so. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, sir. The Honorable Jonelle Powell will present.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to join in the congratulations for Tijwanique. Mr. Speaker, I'm taking your lead. I'm following your lead.
I was about to say I'm happy I have someone joining me, sir.
But Tijwanique Morton, it is particularly pleasing for me to rise and congratulate you as the Minister with responsibility for sports. Your work over the years has clearly been stellar. You obviously set examples not just on the track but off the track, which is something that I think has contributed to you being here tonight. It is more than just having the ability to physically win races. We must also have that mental strength. And I use this opportunity to commend you and to encourage you to continue to speak with the young athletes, to share your own experiences with them and to be that example for them to follow. I note from your profile your involvement in sport even at an official or as an official. And it shows that you have that vision, that foresight to not just participate, but to understand what you're doing and to know the rules. And I think that this is something that will assist you as you go forward. I look forward to seeing your name on scholarships and further awards as you continue to excel in sport and to represent St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, not just represent St. Kitts and Nevis on the track, but as a true ambassador of our federation. I congratulate you. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister Powell. Congratulations, Ms. Morton. Next honoree is Ms. Janella Brown. Her profile will be read by Ms. Zonnie Stapleton.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Ms. Janaya Brown of the Keon High School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of academics. Brown is a member of the St. Mary's Man and the Biosphere program, as well as her school's environmental club. Where these two organizations marry, it is in their impetus to enhance the interaction between people and the physical environment around us. As class president, prefect, honor roll, and principal's list recipient since primary school, Brown understands what it means to stay focused and positive. Education is very valuable to her, and she sees a level of education in anything as necessary at all endeavors in life. It is therefore not surprising that Brown is no stranger to her school's annual Speech Day Awards ceremony. In spite of experiencing much negativity as she has succeeded throughout the years, Brown has a message of steadfast pride in one's achievements. She asserts that one should block negativity and keep doing your best. If given the opportunity, Janaya would love to help quiet and conservative youth find their voices to the end of expressing themselves holistically, not just publicly. She is an advocate for mental health awareness and is saddened by society's harsh response to this population. Janaya's message is one of compassion and patience. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Zondi. Minister Eugene Hamilton, member for number 8, will present.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. The privilege is mine to present the third award this evening to a young lady, Janaya Brown, who I will describe as one who has become a wise person because of her lived experience. Mr. Speaker, Janaya has seen some adversity in her life. Indeed, she, because of the choice of parents, lived for a while among the trees and the lush environment. And that environment taught her many lessons, which she still has in her. She has then joined forces with the biosphere, the St. Mary's biosphere, to continue to live that passion of helping to ensure that the environment is safe and secured and left for those who come behind us. But Janaya, because of that lived experience, has not lost sight of what some of the important goals of youth are. She has gone on to be good at her academics, a class president, prefect, honor roll, and principals on the principal's list since she's in primary school. That's why I say she's wise. That wisdom comes from her lived experience. And so when she gives the message which says that she is one who is compassionate, she is also living that experience which is taught to us by our Bible. Because those who have the goods of earth must share those goods of earth with those who are less fortunate than themselves. So said 1 John 3 and verse 17. And so Janaya, I want to congratulate you, therefore, on being the compassionate person that you are, and that you will continue to share the love and compassion with not only your family, but those whom you encounter every day as you go through your journey of life. With those words, it is my pleasure to present to you this token. It reads, 25 Most Remarkable Teens in St. Kitts and Nevis, November 2020. Janiah Brown, Academics.
Congrats, Ms. Brown. Thank you, Minister Hamilton. Next awardee is Ms. Marika Cumberbatch, and she would have her profile read by Mr. Jalen Munzak. Second time up, Mr. Munzak.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Marika Cumberbatch of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Technology. As one of the few females in the male-dominated field of technology, Marika prides herself on being studious and focused. She is honored to stand amongst the men as she believes that girl programmers are game changers. To this end, she is happily pursuing studies in information technology at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, CFBC. Noting that technology is normally associated with diminishing self-confidence, she is interested in using it as a tool to uplift young people. Marika is also thankful for the emphasis that COVID-19 has placed on technology. She feels that we have been forced to embrace technology more holistically. She looks forward to the transformation of the landscape in this regard. Bracing for advancement and increased creativity, Marika is confident that teachers will rise to the challenge and unlock ingenuity unimagined. Cumberbatch is hopeful for the future and wants to take St. Kitts into the wave of technological advancement. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Munzak. The Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Sean Richards, member for St. Christopher 5, will present.
Mr. Speaker, it is my pleasure and honor this evening to present this award to Ms. Marika Cumberbatch on behalf of the entire Federation for being recognized as the most remarkable teen in the field of technology. I note from her profile that she has struggled with self-confidence and has had to overcome insecurities. I am of the view that in order for us to overcome our weaknesses, we have to face them and work towards overcoming them step by step. I note that from her profile, she has participated in several different activities: debate, dance, a worship leader at her church, being not just a member, but also the financial assistant for the St. Kitts Nevis Robotic Association, a field which traditionally has been dominated by men. Interestingly, she has done all of these things, which says to me, and I certainly would hope to others, that she has overcome her insecurities, and she is a lady who is full of confidence. The profile also notes that her second name is Joy, and that is what she is called by most persons. This evening, I want to encourage you to spread the joy that you have received from participating in these various activities to other young persons who, like you, have different weaknesses that they too would wish to overcome. Congratulations on behalf of all of us.
Congrats to Marika. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister. The next awardee is Mr. Julian Francis. His profile will be read by Ms. Dinola Laplace.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure I introduce Julian Francis of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of volunteerism. Francis is passionate about young people and wants to do all he can to assist in efforts that uplift community and self. For the past 5 years, he has been a part of the administrative staff at the Vacation Bible School and has taught drumming at the St. Paul's Methodist Church. As a member of the St. Paul's Methodist Youth Fellowship, he acts as event coordinator. Julian has served on the administrative staff at the inaugural Methodist Circuit Music Camp held in July 2019 and is lauded as an excellent team player. In 2019, Julian and his friend spearheaded a church Christmas concert, even after being told that it was too late and there was too much work that had to be done. However, those words did not deter him. Francis vowed that by December, the church would have a band. He boasts that by November, the band was up and running, giving God praise and honor. To this end, he purchased band equipment out of his own pocket to help advance the youth. He maintains that he spent his own money because he wanted people to know that he was serious about his goals. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Laplace. The Right Honorable Dr. Denzel Douglas, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I participate in the 2020 celebration of the 25 most remarkable teens, I'm very proud this evening to present this award to Julian Francis, who hails from the community of St. Paul's in Capister and is a very proud student at the Charles E. Mills Secondary School in Sandy Point. Having been identified for this award within the category of volunteerism, permit me, Mr. Speaker, to describe young Francis in this way. He is, in fact, a spiritual volunteer with a very firm and dedicated passion to work with young people at the church, at the school, at community, especially in the communities served by the Methodist Church of St. Paul's. What do we really learn about his personality from the profile that has just been read? One, he never takes no for an answer. when he's been challenged with several tasks. He never, of course, backs down from a task and a challenge that he has been given. He's a leader, and at the same time, he is a very successful organizer. But I will describe him as well as an excellent team player. He's a man of many parts. Not only is he involved in the church activities, but he's also an entertainer of some class, and he's also a sports coach or a sports trainer. And so tonight I ask, with this kind of excellent profile of achievement, is there any area of volunteerism in youth development that has escaped this young man? And I would say that maybe, of course, there is. But we are satisfied, having read his profile and heard his profile, that his life is just beginning. And I am sure that he is therefore being well prepared for the challenges of his adult life. And so I say to you, Julian, stay focused. You are being given this award to ensure that you stay focused, you stay the course, and you continue on this very positive life, that you have led so far, to encourage not only yourself to go further, but others who are emulating you. God bless you. Thank you.
Congrats again to Mr. Francis. The next awardee is Mr. Aidan Tuckett, and he will have his profile read by Mr. Dwayne Hendrickson.
With pleasure, I introduce Aidan Tuckett of the Washington Archibald High School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Culinary Arts. After caramelizing bananas in a frying pan with alcohol, Aidan sets the pan ablaze to create his special sauce, which he uses to glaze his signature banana bread. Tuckett reminisces on the taste left in his mouth by his grandmother's version of this pastry. Aidan aspires to recapture his grandmother's formula in spite of her passing. Even though Tuckett comes across as shy and introverted, he is kind and is an absolute powerhouse in the kitchen. Unequivocally, Aidan's passion is food, whether it be thinking up of new ideas and recipes, executing the cooking of his favorite, and best part, tasting and eating the fruits of his hard work. Tuckett is on a mission to bless the world one morsel at a time. His journey to the stove began at home, watching his father, who is a chef, cook and prepare delicious meals. Aidan aspires to improve upon his father's legacy, who he says wants him to be a better version of all that he is. Laying the bedrock for this desire, Aidan has already begun selling brownies, cookies, muffin, and mini cakes. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Hendrickson. The Honorable Jeffrey Hanley is up.
With your leave, Mr. Speaker, 9 years ago, when under my leadership as the Director of Youth, when this program was introduced to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, I had no clue that I would have been given an opportunity to be in Parliament to be able to present these awards. This moment, Mr. Speaker, I will cherish, and I take this opportunity to congratulate all 25 awardees and the appearance. Mr. Speaker, I'm even more moved to present Mr. Aiden Tuckett, someone who I held as a baby, this award, and I am so proud of his accomplishments thus far. I believe, Mr. Speaker, that some skills are genetic, and here you have a young budding chef walking in the legacy of his father, who is a certified chef. Mr. Tuckett, he is fully involved in his church life as well, and I believe because he cooks with love, that is why his pastry and his various dishes, I believe, taste much different to others. You recognize that he is a young entrepreneur, not scared of taking his brownies, whether to church, to school, or wherever, to make a change. And he must be commended for that. And Chef Aiden, I place my order for my banana bread for Christmas. But Mr. Speaker, he has a dream of organizing a baking camp. And Aiden, I give you my commitment and my assurance with the experience I have with camping, that that dream will become a reality. I will work with you to accomplish that. I wish you God's blessings, and I am looking forward to hearing your name being called, whether it's your restaurant or your signature dishes and pastries. May God continue to cover you.
Congrats, Iran. The only drawback is that I'm not sure it's a good idea to be talking about food at this time of the night, when the hunger pangs are on the rise. But it is what it is. Congrats again to you, sir, and all the best. Next up is Miss Tara Penny, and her profile will be read by Mr. Shane Venner.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure I introduce Tara Penny of the Fairchilds High School, recipient of a remarkable teen award in the category of coping positively with challenges. Penny notes that being ill has made her reflective and hypersensitive to her contributions in life. She is determined to live meaningfully and happily. At the delicate age of 1 month, Tara developed allergies to baby formula, had eczema, and experienced problems with her eyes. In primary school, Tara began to suffer from severe headaches, which increased through high school after a series of CT scans. Penny began experiencing nosebleeds occurring at least 2 times per day. At age 12, she was diagnosed with sickle cell, which was later discovered to actually be endometriosis. On account of this state of affairs, Tira recounts missing school and many opportunities. With many teachers unaware of her condition, Tira can testify to her absences being treated harshly. Students also would tease Tira for her complaints and lethargic demeanor. Penny tells that some days are so bad that she is often unable to get out of bed. Under the weight of such an existence, it is truly noteworthy that Tira has been able to maintain a character that is kind, loving, and helpful towards others in and out of school. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Venner. The Honorable Lindsey Grant, member for St. Christopher 4, will present.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With your leave, I rise to commend and to congratulate the 25 most remarkable teens for 2020, and more specifically to Tyra Penny. And when I look, Mr. Speaker, at the profile under the rubric coping positively with challenges, I suspect the year 2020 for the recognition of this award is quite apt, because we know 2020 has been fraught with challenges, and more particularly the global pandemic of the COVID-19. And I must say, Mr. Speaker, that Tyra's journey has been one of immense challenges. As you would have heard, at 1 month, she was already developing allergies, sickle cell, endometriosis, and for some of us in this parliament, one might say her life has been a roller coaster. But I believe, Mr. Speaker, that being said, I believe as a consequence of those challenges, Tyra has developed some very remarkable traits. And as the profile reads, Mr. Speaker, that has ensured that he has a very kind and loving personality, very caring both for the old and the young, and has brought her to be in touch with the church in a very personal way, Mr. Speaker. And I recognize that she intends to be a pediatrician, and I believe the challenges that she would have faced during the years would assist her in that endeavor. I am particularly pleased to recognize that she's very much involved in church, school, and community. And I think for her it augurs well for the future. And so, Mr. Speaker, I look at the token of appreciation that we will be presenting to the awardee, Tyra, and wish her well in the future, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Congrats again, Ms. Penny. Each and every year we have this ceremony. There's always that one youth from among the 25 which serves as a sort of special inspiration to all of us here. I believe Ms. Penny might fall into that category this year. I wish her well. The next awardee is Mr. Keljari Huggins, and his profile will be read by Zonnie Stapleton.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Kejari Huggins of the Charlestown Secondary School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Spirit of Hope. Victim of societal stereotypes and negative profiling, Huggins endures much judgment. His physical appearance has been the cause of many a false impression where he is concerned. Huggins recalls being teased and called derogatory terms. Ignoring negativity and upholding his mother's wishes is how he copes, knowing that he is more than what people think. From kindergarten to grade 6, his grades averaged upwards of the 90%, earning him 3 awards at graduation. Upon graduating, Kejari was awarded a scholarship from the Nevis Youth Path Program. At the end of his high school career, he left in 5A1, passing his 8 subjects successfully. Huggins tells of a time when he was overweight and would not get chosen for sports teams. His aspiration was to be selected for a basketball team. He set out on a mission to become fit and is now a member of the national Nevis team. He notes when being teased by many people for his participating in church, the love he has for his mother, who he endeavors not to stress, outweighs all negativity. In high school, his mother had to be flown to Jamaica for medical assistance, where she stayed for more than a month. Being the eldest, care of his siblings fell to him. He has learned to treasure his mother and the sacrifices she has made. It is not easy dealing with pressure and proving others wrong. Kejari continues to inspire hope that the impossible is possible. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Did you say one time he was considered to be overweight? Well, I just asked because maybe you would need to offer some lessons maybe to some of us going forward. That's all I'm thinking of. That's all I'm thinking of. The Honorable Alexis Jeffers was down to present the award, but he did send his apologies for being absent this evening. So in his room, it will be the Honorable Member for Nevis 9, Mr. Mark Brantley.
Mr. Speaker, may it please you. It gives me immense pleasure to rise to recognize young Kejari Huggins. And Mr. Speaker, I note that in advance of me rising, you suggested to him that he might pass lessons on to some of us as to how we might lose weight. I trust you were not speaking about me. Having looked at Mr. Huggins' profile, I can say to you, young Huggins, that you are very impressive. That you have done well academically, that you have done well in terms of sport. I noted your love for basketball and the fact that you were able to make the basketball team, and not only to do that, but I've heard of your prowess on the basketball court, and so I commend you on that. But the thing that stood out most for me was your obvious love for and attachment to your mom. And the fact that that made such a prominent part of your profile speaks volumes to who you are. I'm always of the view that people who are close to their mom are naturally good people. Because mothers, as we know, particularly mothers in our context, where oftentimes mothers are mothers and fathers in the home, that being close to your mom, to me, speaks quite eloquently to who you are. I have noted your own challenges, but based on the successes that have been outlined, it is clear to me that you have not allowed these challenges to keep you down. And so, young Mr. Kijari Huggins, it gives me immense pleasure to be the one to present to you this beautiful token of appreciation on behalf of all of us here in the Parliament. 25 Most Remarkable Teens, you are one of the 25 for 2020, and you're being awarded for your spirit of hope.
Congrats again, Mr. Huggins. Next awardee is Miss Carol Woods, and her profile will be read by Mr. Jalen Munzak. I think this is his third time up for the night.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure I introduce Carol Woods of the Washington Archibald High School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of writing. Goal-oriented and compassionate, she asserts that writing is an avenue for expression, especially for persons who are timid and do not relish public speaking. In addition to being a prerequisite for most courses of study, Woods see writing and a proclivity towards English as a way to influence what is happening around us. In this arena, Carol is much accomplished. She is published on Wattpad with words including Just Another Black Girl, in addition to 5 works on episodes. It is an aspiration of Carol to eventually be published on Amazon and to bring about an end to racism. In addition to her own innate sense of compassion, Woods' works are motivated and informed by her academic experiences. Inspired by the ills of the world learned in social studies, Carol gravitates towards topics such as death, love, and violence, and advocates for social justice. Ultimately, she wants her work to motivate and inspire others. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Jalen. The Honorable Minister of State and Senator Wendy Phipps, if you may.
Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I rise with pleasure to congratulate all 25 remarkable teens this evening who are being recognized for various accomplishments and areas of endeavors in their young lives. However, my task tonight is to focus on just one individual, who is Miss Carol Woods, the profile of whom we have just heard. It is evident from what has been written and what has been said that Miss Woods is an individual who relishes writing as an outlet for creativity and personal expression. I find it interesting that her preferred subject matter are those topics that affect the human condition, such as love, such as death, such as violence, such as the imperative for social justice. I would like to commend her for continuing along that track, because unfortunately we do not have too many individuals in St. Kitts and Nevis who normally venture out in the area of writing. We do have some small examples, but there's a lot more room for that in terms of expression. And with the prevalence of social media, we can put it to even better use by persons such as Ms. Woods, who would have chosen to use it for inspiration rather than destructive endeavors, as we so often see. I note from her profile that Ms. Woods is intent on having a career in medicine focused on the health of children or women based on what is written here. I commend her again in that endeavor going forward. I would like to admonish Ms. Woods this evening, as someone who enjoys literature and enjoys writing myself, that she should keep up her writing. St. Kitts and Nevis is yet to be counted among the fortunate nations that would have had its citizens rise to the level of being recipients of major writing accomplishments, such as the Nobel Prize for Literature or the Booker Prize, which was recently awarded just about a week ago to a Scottish writer. I would admonish her to keep writing. Write as an outlet, to get it out of your system and to encourage other people. At the same time, I commend you for going forward, focusing on the centrality of God in your life, because you could never fail with Him. So with those words, Mr. Speaker, I congratulate Carol Woods on being recognized in 2020 as one of 25 remarkable teens in the area of writing.
Congrats again, Ms. Woods. Thank you, Minister Phipps. Ms. Ajanaya Batiste is the next awardee up. And her profile, I took my time and still get it wrong. Oh, so I called the name wrong. That's what you're saying. Oh, Mr. My apologies. Oh, yeah, my mistake. I should first look at the person seated. My mistake. We learn as we go along. My humblest apologies, sincerest apologies, sir. Mr. Ajanaya Batiste is our next awardee, and his profile will be read by Miss Dinola Laplace.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Ajani Batiste of the Washington Archibald High School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Personal Decision to Change. During his last 7 years at the Washington Archibald High, Batiste transferred from the learning support system into the mainstream. He recalls coming to school and not caring until one day a teacher spoke into his life. With effort, he worked his way up and is on a path away from his past. Batiste also remembers the many persons who would have spoken to him about direction and potential. Ajani is proud of where he is today and looks forward to enjoying his tomorrow. Given his innate leadership skills, Batiste is often called upon to rally persons and organize group activities. Understanding that he is skilled with his hands, Batiste treasures the time he spends at Youth Skills, honing his love for mechanics. He proudly recommends Youth Skills as a valuable intervention in student life. Ajani has progressed into an incredible mentor and support system for younger boys. In the future, Ajani sees himself working in a vehicle body workshop. He plans to sharpen his skills at AVIC to further his experience. Batiste has a message for all youth on the right path. He says, keep it up, give your best, and hold a positive mind. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Ms. Laplace. The Honorable Vincent Byron, Attorney General, if you may.
Mr. Speaker, it gives me pleasure to rise this evening to present this wonderful symbol, token, to the Honorary Mr. Ajania Batiste of the Washington Archibald High School. Mr. Ajania Batiste has made a personal decision to change his life and to move on a path that will see him become a most productive individual in our community. He is hailed from his profile as one that is a mentor to others in the law school at the Washington Archibald High School, and he exudes a number of qualities that most of them obviously look up to and would want to emulate. He is seen to make others happy and comfortable at school. He works with young people, other young people, and obviously is a team player. Mr. Speaker, Ajania is said to show leadership in what he does among the school, in all aspects of school life, whether it is in cheerleading, in attempting at sports, and other forms of other activities at school. Ajania has a passion for life, a passion for people, and we know that he will do well if he stays on this path as he goes. Mr. Speaker, Ajania wants to be a mechanic. He wants to work in a vehicle mechanic shop. And he uses his hands, he wants to be productive, and our community needs young men like Ajania to grow up and to do well for all of us. And so it is with pleasure that I present to Ajania this token for being one of the most remarkable teens, one of the 25 most remarkable teens in St. Kitts and Nevis in this year of 2020. Ajania Baptiste, may it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Congrats again, Mr. Baptiste. Thank you, Honorable AG. The next awardee is Miss Nikesha Henry, and her profile will be read by Mr. Dwayne Hendrickson.
With pleasure, I introduce Nikesha Henry of the Nevis International Secondary School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Environmentalism. Environmental protection, preservation, and cleanliness is the mantra governing the great works of this impressive young teen. Although Nikesha is of a quiet disposition, she is a brave and courageous activism powerhouse in defense of our land of beauty, St. Kitts and Nevis. Her passion for the environment runs so deep in her spirit that when she was younger, she would actually ask her mom to stop the car so that she could take up trash that was improperly disposed. When that request was not possible, Nikesha would organize a group and return to the site to remove the garbage. In 2019, she single-handedly launched an international petition on the importance of banning the use of single-use plastic bags. Youth Can is the name of Henry's own youth group, which has produced a video documenting historical sites in Nevis. Her group has coordinated a visit to the New River Reforestation Project and international coastal cleanups. Nikesha is on a mission to make St. Kitts and Nevis a plastic-free federation and stands ready to serve in any way to help St. Kitts and Nevis make the transition. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Dwayne. The Honorable Mark Brantley will present.
Mr. Speaker, may it please you, I am overjoyed to have this opportunity to present this award to Nikesha Henry, a young woman from the heart of my own constituency, and one whom I have come to know quite well. I have always been impressed with the passion that this young woman brings to anything that she does. And yes, we are recognizing her tonight for her incredible work on the environment, and in particular, her work to ban plastics and styrofoam, a work that I support wholeheartedly. The environment, clearly, we have to take care of it if we are to survive, and if generations yet unborn are to have a world to live in. And young people like Nikesha are leading the way, and for this, I think they ought to be commended. I am not sure whether she would like me to share this with us here in Parliament and with the nation and the world who are watching, but while she is being recognized for environmental work and her activism for the environment, I usually refer to her as Prime Minister, because it is my fervent belief, and I speak it into being tonight, that one day Nikesha Henry will be the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Congrats, Ms. Henry. Thank you, Minister Brantley. Ms. Elise Thomas is our next awardee. Her profile will be read by Mr. Shane Venner.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Elise Thomas of the Nevis International Secondary School, recipient of a remarkable teen award in the category of youth activism. Eloquent, poised, and brave describes the package in which the fiery passion of Elise Thomas is wrapped. Disguised as a budding artist, Thomas is a passionate advocate for women's rights and equality in society. In fact, Elise uses her art to speak on much of the ills plaguing society. Elise believes in the power of art as a tool of expression and wants the best for whoever she's assisting. Through art, Thomas strives to achieve a connection with her audiences and wants to encourage all to turn problems into new experiences. In 2018, Thomas represented her school at Tourism Youth Congress, then made her way to the Nevis Youth Parliament, where she plans to continue to hone her skills and take advantage of all opportunities to be a voice for the young. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, sir. The Honorable Eric Evelyn, member for Nevis 10. May it please you to present.
Mr. Speaker, I rise with your leave to, first of all, as I make my debut at this very auspicious occasion, to congratulate all 25 most remarkable teens this evening. I think it is very important as a government that we continue to honor our young people, because of course in the next few years, they are the ones who will be sitting and standing up here. And so I want to commend the Department and Ministry of Youth for its commitment in honoring our young people. Mr. Speaker, I want to endorse the words that have been spoken this evening about Miss Elise Thomas. And I want to say this is a very historic moment because, Elise, you'll be the first recipient of an award from me as the most remarkable teen. So I am very, very happy that you will be the first person, the first remarkable teen that I'll have the pleasure of presenting an award to. I noticed that Miss Elise Thomas is a budding artist, and I'm very happy to see that. I think we can do with some more artists in St. Kitts and Nevis. We do have some accomplished ones, but I believe we can do it some more. And I want to encourage Elise that in the way to become an accomplished artist, you're going to meet challenges. When the challenges come, either get under, get over, get around, but get ahead of the challenges. And I look forward to patronizing your art in the future. I also noticed that you're being awarded for youth activism, and it says in your profile that you are an advocate for women's rights. And it's very timely that you're receiving this award now. We are in the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And so I believe you will be one who will be speaking against gender-based violence. Your profile also said that you have the support of your parents. It is very important, parents, that we support our young people. And I'm delighted that you have the support of your parents. Elise, I want to congratulate you. I want to ask you to stay focused. I believe that there's a bright future that lies ahead of you. I know you have some leadership skills at your school. I just want to congratulate you as you receive this award for youth activism, one of the 25 most remarkable teens for 2020. Congratulations.
Congrats again, Ms. Thomas. Thank you, Honorable Minister Evelyn. The next person up to receive an award is Miss Tina French, and her profile will be read by Zonnie Stapleton.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure I introduce Miss Taina French of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of volunteerism. Taina is bursting with empathy and compassion and has an air about her that is filled with goodwill. Miss French is a proud big sister and aunt who is grateful for the leadership skills she garnered through leading the little ones in her family. She recalls her love for the elderly being cemented when her granny was bedsick and they struggled to decide on providing care for her. Taina pays homage to the Interact Club at the Bastille High School. As the second president in history of the club, French describes countless acts of service performed and cannot capture enough how important the work of this club is to shaping of youth. From the giving out of care packages to her many stints at the Cardin home, the foundation for a future of service has been laid. Now a member of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, French is looking forward to expanding her reach by joining the Rotaract Club. If given the opportunity, Taina would organize reading camps with a focus to diversify exposure to print. In addition, she wants to spearhead her own volunteer group targeting the elderly. If ever there was an advocate for volunteerism towards the elderly, it would be Miss Taina French. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Ms. Stapleton. The Honorable Dr. Joel Clark will present.
Mr. Speaker, it is with an immense sense of joy and pleasure that I rise to celebrate the life of a budding volunteer. Taina knows that there's no greater joy than in selflessness and volunteerism, and that's repaid through the smiles and the warm hugs from those she serves, especially the elderly. Her interest in the Rotaract Club and her service in her Interact Club are linked to a greater global cause of volunteerism and service, and that is the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. She recognizes that this agenda of leaving no one behind, ending poverty, aging, and enabling healthy aging is important, and that's why she volunteers at the Cardin Home. She's selfless, she's empathetic, and Taina is recognizing that the greatest community problems and global problems are solved through volunteerism. She's actually doing what Matthew 21 admonishes and says, that the greatest amongst us will be our servants, and she's a servant. And so, with pleasure, I congratulate Taina. Your empathy is recognized, your volunteerism will be rewarded. Continue being remarkable.
Congrats again to Ms. French. Thank you, Senator Clark. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, we have just gone past the half a mark. That was awardee number 13. I know, given the oratory skills of our members, that the next half would be tighter. And so we should be out of here, not that I'm rushing anything, in good time. The next awardee is Miss Jane Bristol. Ajani? Ajani. Yes, feel free to correct me. Feel free to correct me. You see, I don't want to fool myself that I'm doing so well that I'm not getting the corrections. So anytime there's a mistake, let me know. Ajani Bristol and Youth Ambassador Jalen Munzak will read her profile.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure I introduce Ajane Bristol of the Washington Archibald High School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of dance. Ajane is passionate about dance, beginning her dance career at the Fireflies Dance School. Bristol is now a member of the Children's Dance Theater, where she is a proud member of the Rockets. Dance for her is a way to not only entertain audiences, but also to cope with the trials of the world as an emotional outlet. Her faith in the art form motivated her to host her very own dance camp, dubbed Just Dance, at age 14. The daunting task was first born in her mind out of service to the Violet Petty Primary School as choreographer for their annual graduation ceremony. With strong support from her mother and family, Bristol planned and executed her dance camp. Recognizing the financial constraints facing parents within the community, Bristol intervened as the benefits of dance are paramount to the overall development of young people. She wanted her camp to be both a safe haven and a talent sharpener. Bristol's belief in dance encouraged her to find a way to offer dance to students who would not have otherwise been exposed. Teacher, leader, entrepreneur, Ajane Bristol, her plans to follow up soon, although affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, are only paused but not abandoned. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Jalen. Senator, the Honorable Dr. Bernice Nisbet will present. Imagine I am mispronouncing the Deputy Speaker's name incorrectly. I apologize. Dr. Benicia Nisbet.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to present this award to Ms. Ajane Bristol. But before I do, please allow me to applaud this young stalwart for her extraordinary work that she has done so far. Mr. Speaker, as I read through her profile, I noted two important information. One, at a tender age of 14, she planned and executed her own dance camp with the help of her parents. For me, Mr. Speaker, this action supersedes remarkable. Secondly, was the interesting fact that she is inspired by her 3-year-old sister who is battling cancer. Ms. Bristol, to you I say, keep a positive outlook on life, for you are braver than you believe and stronger than you see. Mr. Speaker, before we began prayers, Pastor Leon Matthew graciously recited some words from the scriptures, and I just want to reiterate to Ms. Bristol that she is fearfully and wonderfully made and can do all things through Christ who is your strength. Don't just keep the good works, but don't just keep up the good works, but continue to use the art of dance to tell your story and uplift others. Congratulations to you, Ms. Ajane Bristol. Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I now present this award to Ms. Ajane Bristol, who is being commended in the category of dance.
Congrats again to Ms. Bristol, and best wishes to you and your family. Thank you, Honorable Benicia Nisbet. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, the next awardee is Mr. Danrick Robinson. His profile will be read by Mr. Laplace. Yes. Danrick Robinson.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure I introduce Danrick Robinson of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Scholar Athlete, disciplined both on and off the field, dominant in and outside of the classroom. This is the record of the striking 19-year-old Danrick Robinson. For Danrick, attaining an education is important, even though athletic success is a major goal. Robinson is taking advantage of his athletic skills to get him as far as academically possible. When Danrick started, he did not attain success immediately. He actually would not place. Robinson set minor and major goals and worked on himself, honing his craft. Following through on the promises he made to himself, Robinson now sits amongst the best on the island. Danrick favors throwing events, in particular discus and shot put. Proving himself at interschool, representing the Bastia High, he was afforded the opportunity to travel to Curacao as a part of the Stormers team. In 2018, he captured the gold medal at the St. Kitts National Championship. In spite of his athletic success, Danrick has always maintained his place in the upper stream of school, transitioning from 1G1 through 5G1. He has seen what the streets has to offer and is choosing differently. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Laplace. The Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet will present.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I rise to first of all congratulate all 25 remarkable teens who are being awarded tonight. And so far we have heard some amazing stories of some exceptional young people. But tonight I have been asked to speak specifically to Danrick Robinson. Mr. Robinson, from his bio, would have indicated that he did not attain success immediately. Instead, what he realized from very young is that if he set goals, minor goals, as well as major goals, it will get him to wherever he needed to go. And so, having set those goals and working towards those goals, he is now one of the best shot put that you can ever imagine, even able to give some of the lessons that he's learned and encourage young persons as well to be able to become great shot put as well. Mr. Speaker, the other things that stand out about Mr. Robinson is the fact that he is a community type of person. He loves to give back. He loves to volunteer. He loves to be able to do whatever it is because he believes that volunteering is a win-win. Because with volunteering, it is a network of exposure and he's able to win in the end. You give, you get back, and he has been seeing that throughout his life. And that is something that I would like to continue to encourage. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that is noted in his bio is that Danrick notes, and I'm wondering if it is experience, that ego and pride have had an impact on him on account of his success. I don't know if it's that he has been ego-driven, or if his pride took over more, but fortunately, he understands that to combat this, all he has to do is turn to God and give God the credit, understanding he's nothing without him, and it is through him that he has received everything that he has received. And so tonight, I want to commend Danrick for his continued work at setting goals and continuing to reach for them, for continuing to do well in school, even though he is into the athletics, he understands the balance. And so I'd like to commend him for continuing to reach for whatever he aspires to, continuing to give back. I hope when coaching these young persons, he also motivates them to do the same, to be able to balance both academics and and their schoolwork as well. So tonight I just want to award Mr. Danrick Robinson as one of our 25 most remarkable teens in the area of scholar athlete. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Minister Akila Bayo-Nisbet, and congrats again to Mr. Robbins. Mr. Maurice Knight, that name rings a bell.
Moriel.
Moriel Knight, it still rings a bell. I remember him joining us or accompanying us to Trinidad last year as part of the youth parliamentarians. So he's back, maybe in even grander style. He's the next awardee up, and his profile will be read by Mr. Dwayne Hendrickson.
With pleasure, I introduce Muriel Knight of the Bastille High School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award on the category of Leadership. Mr. Knight is a formidable advocate for youth empowerment and ensuring that young people have a representative voice. He is honest, well-mannered, respectful, determined, and strikingly well-spoken. 17-year-old Knight is a participant in the Youth After School program at his church, as well as their Vacation Bible School in Newtown. He has been featured on the Good News Children's Bible Hour radio show and was president of the Students' Council 2019 at the Basse High School, as well as a member of the Interact Club. In addition, he is the winner of the Advocate for Tomorrow Law Debate and an active member of the St. Kitts and Nevis Youth Parliament Association, SCNIPA. Muriel hopes to become a marine pilot, assisting cruise ships with docking, and he also aspires to a career in politics. He is interested in spearheading an after-school program to provide a safe haven along with socializing opportunities for the youth of St. Kitts and Nevis. Alongside this worthwhile project, he also sees value in organizing public speaking seminars so that young people have the chance to learn to speak publicly and give interviews. Humbly, Muriel Knight credits all the above to God Almighty and is on a trajectory for success and will indeed be a powerful beacon for young people, not only in St. Kitts and Nevis, but also the world. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, sir. The Honorable Sean Richards will present.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for the final time this evening to present this award to a most deserving young man, Mr. Muriel Knight, who is being recognized as a remarkable teen in the field of leadership. This particular ceremony, Mr. Speaker, I've had the opportunity to partake in over quite a number of years. Each year, we learn of many remarkable persons. Some we learn of for the very first time, but there are others, Mr. Speaker, because of their involvement in different activities, we actually know of them before this particular ceremony. That is indeed the case with Mr. Knight. He is a gentleman that I have known because of his participation, his leadership in a number of different activities. For example, it was only yesterday that I saw him at a sitting of the Youth Parliament. He wasn't debating this time around, but actually was in the audience. However, about 2 months earlier, in the month of September, again I would have seen him at Youth Parliament and making his contribution to the bills that they were debating then. I've also seen him participating in a number of other competitions, be it organized by the Ministry of Education or the Ministry of Tourism. You yourself mentioned, Mr. Speaker, that he would have traveled with a contingent to Trinidad last year. Upon returning to St. Kitts, I had the opportunity to listen to him on Win FM, I think it was, speaking about his experience in Trinidad and how it has helped him to grow as an individual. Certainly, he is a leader. He has been leading young persons. He's the vice president of SCNIPA. His profile notes that he aims to become a marine pilot, thereby leading ships and tourists into the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. But he also aspires to be a politician. That part of it, again, leadership. And that type of leadership indeed can be one that is extremely rewarding. Of course, it also comes with its own level of stress and challenges, but he is getting what I would consider to be good experience to enable him to become a fine politician and a better leader here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Congratulations, Mr. Knight, on receiving this award. You are truly deserving of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Congratulations again to you, Mr. Knight, on your award. I'm just a bit curious, though, how would being a pilot and a politician work? But at your age, 17, you have a lot of time on your hands to make the two things work. Just a little tidbit. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, Mr. Gregory McGrath is the next awardee. Mr. Shane Venner will read his profile.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Gregory McGrath of the Nevis International Secondary School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Coping Positively with Challenges. At first, Gregory gives the impression of one who is shy, quiet, and reserved. However, one conversation reveals that underneath his calm exterior is a passionate, steady, multi-talented reservoir of potential. Gregory is brave and resilient. He insists that losing circumstances are not sufficient grounds to be mean to others. This resolve fuels his compassion for others, making him a willing advocate in the stand against bullying and teasing. At just 18 years, Gregory is an accomplished archer, training with the Nevis archery team. In addition, McGrath is an avid basketball player with a knack for the arts. He paints, drums, plays the piano and steel pan at school, and also with the Rohan Claxton's Steel Orchestra. Gregory is coping positively with autism. He is doing so well that he has been able to perform in front of his entire school. Gregory is determined to put his mind to whatever he has to do. Without a doubt, Gregory is remarkable and has managed to achieve a stellar feat by coping positively with the challenges that he faces. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Venner. I call on the Right Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas. Second time up.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This second award on my part for this evening, as you've heard, it goes to this 6 feet tall young man called Gregory McGrath of the Nevis International Secondary School. And he is receiving this award within the category of coping positively with challenges. Mr. Speaker, challenges in life present themselves in very many different ways and forms. They may be genetic in origin, which then demonstrate and emphasize what I would describe tonight as the uniqueness of the individual. That is physical uniqueness, organic uniqueness, or maybe even emotional uniqueness. The whole point is that every individual is unique, and no individual must be discarded. How does this really apply to Gregory? We are told that he is an autistic individual whose tremendous accomplishments have given us the opportunity to look at this unique individual with some awe. What are some of the awesome qualities that he possesses? You've heard. He has a passion and also is very compassionate. He is an advocate, I would say, for bullying and teasing. He has had some awesome achievements, which again demonstrate that multi-talented reservoir for his potential to be developed. How has he developed these so far? We are told that he is a lover of music and the arts, a pianist, and he is a pianist as well. In fact, he has demonstrated that he would like to be developing these areas in his adult career, art and music. So tonight, why then is he being presented to us as being remarkable? He has coped very positively so far with a challenge that is not of his making. I don't think he has any social problems of violence or anything of that kind as a young man. He simply inherited what he is from his parents. And what really is very awesome about his achievements is that he speaks out very loudly and clearly that autistic individuals must never be cast away, never not being given the opportunity to develop their potential. This is something of the past. It must never be of the present in this progressive society. And so Gregory basically, he speaks loudly to us that there can be a difference in the management of people like himself in this country as we are seeing in other countries. You are therefore being encouraged tonight, Gregory, with this award. The sky is not only the limit for those who do not have autism, it is also the limit for those who have conditions like autism. This is to motivate you. This is to ensure that you achieve your dreams. You're an artist already. We are told some of the characters that you capture in your art. Continue to do so. And maybe you will become the Mozart of the future. God bless you, buddy.
Thank you, Dr. Douglas, and congrats to Mr. McGrath. Dr. Douglas, you think they staged that photo op? with a 6-footer? I'm just wondering. I don't know if it was planned. Do you think so? Why not? Moving speedily along, Miss Vanessa Simon is the next awardee. Zonnie Stapleton will read her profile.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Vanessa Simon of the Gingerland Secondary School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Courage to Overcome. When Vanessa came to Nevis, she spoke Dutch. She knew absolutely no English and recalls feeling downtrodden as she would place last in her class. When she finally entered school in grade 3, Simon recalls placing 16th in her class. In spite of wanting to give up in primary school, Simon successfully managed to place third in her class, in her school with an exceptional 80% average at test of standards. Vanessa also blossomed in the arena of sports. She traveled to Anguilla with the Nevis junior athletic team, bringing home 2 gold medals. She is avid at 400-meter, 800-meter, and 1500-meter races. Things were looking up for Simon in the sporting world until a mishap would befall her. 2 years ago, Simon fractured her hip. By the time her cast came off, it was time for exams. Luckily for Simon, her brother would assist her in revising and ensured that if she had work from class, it was covered. To this end, she has maintained her 80% average at the Gingerland Secondary School and is not a stranger to the honor roll or merit list. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Ms. Stapleton. The Honorable Mark Brantley would present.
Mr. Speaker, may it please you again, I rise for the 3rd time to make this brief intervention and to present an award to the courageous Vanessa Simon. As I looked at her profile, it causes us and caused me to reflect, Mr. Speaker, on what it must feel like to come from a foreign country, to speak no English, and to have to come to St. Kitts and Nevis, in this case to the island of Nevis, and to enter into the school system. I was particularly moved by the fact that for 2 years, Miss Simon could not attend school in Nevis because she did not speak any English. And her profile mentions a particular lady, Jennifer Liebert, who she credits with assisting her and helping her to learn English to the point where she has not only learned English, she has excelled and has maintained an 80% pass rate consistently throughout primary school and now high school. Her athletic prowess perhaps didn't require any knowledge of English, and so she has been excellent in athletics. But I think oftentimes we come here as we recognize these youngsters, and it's important, Mr. Speaker, for us to reflect on their own journey. And the fact that this young woman would have come from Suriname, spoke no English, but has been able not only to overcome, but to be sitting here this evening as one of the 25 most remarkable teens in St. Kitts and Nevis is, in my view, a truly phenomenal and inspiring story. Ms. Simon, I congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. I find that you are an inspiration to others and certainly to me, reading your story. I'm only saddened that now you have come, you no longer speak Dutch. But that perhaps suggests that your English is now so excellent that your mind has abandoned the Dutch for the moment. But please, at some point, try to learn Dutch again so that you're bilingual, because I think that having language skills is also critical as you develop. Congratulations, and this award is being presented to you for courage to overcome. Truly courageous.
Congrats again, Ms. Simon. Thank you, Honorable Brantley. Ladies and gentlemen, I would need a little help with this next name. I'll call on the Madam Clerk to bring forward the next awardee, please.
Speaker, I'm going to make an attempt. It looks like Cientanesia. Okay, I'm told it's correct. Cientanesia Thomas.
Yes, and Ms. Thomas's profile will be read by Mr. Munzak.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Cientanesia Thomas of the Verchilds High School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of academics. She is a diligent, self-motivated individual who believes in the power of good work ethics and scheduling to aid efficiency. With a tunnel vision to success, what will throw a typical student down fuels Cientanesia to keep going. Thomas attributes much of her inspiration to her mother, who had her at a young age. Cientanesia views her mother as a strong woman who she aspires to make proud. For her, traumas are foundational and should be used to make one better. For the duration of her academic career, she has maintained a spot at the top of the echelon. She rallies her classmates to keep trying and motivates them to expand their minds. An integral part of the team, Cientanesia helped to bring victory and a historical milestone to her school, Verchilds High, by winning the SCASPER Best in Class quiz competition. She held additional ambassadorial roles, including the Brimstone Hill Know Your Country quiz and the Financial Literacy Month quiz. When her school held its inaugural and subsequent Principals Awards dinner, Thomas was amongst the awardees who were celebrated. Valedictorian at her primary school, Thomas is no stranger to the honor roll. She has served as Student Council's president, member of the netball team, and athlete. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, sir. The Honorable Lindsay Grant will present to Cientanesia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With your leave, I rise again to commend Cientanesia, I think I have it right, to this honorable House. Mr. Speaker, in reading the bio of Ms. Thomas, I think her attributes can be summarized in one sentence that I like in the bio, which is a strong tower of hope and fortitude wrapped in relentless ambition. And as you read through the bio, Mr. Speaker, that certainly comes to mind. But what I liked about the preview of Ms. Thomas is when it says she is academically inclined, yes, diligent, motivated, but most of all, Mr. Speaker, it says that she believes in the power of good work ethics. And I pause there, Mr. Speaker, because that will augur well for her in the future. I think this is something that is lacking in today's society, and I would hope, bearing in mind Ms. Thomas is a team player, she would pass some of those virtues on to her fellow classmates, Mr. Speaker. And I think that is very worthy of commendation. Mr. Speaker, when we look at the bio, what comes to mind is that Ms. Thomas is a very devoted individual, an individual who strives for nothing less than excellence. And we have seen it over the years in the numerous accolades that she has received, coming from the Bright Star in the West, the Virchilds High School, winning SCASPA Best in Class Quiz Competition, the Brimston Hill Know Your Country Quiz. She was valedictorian at the primary school, Students' Council President. And it's not only academics and academia, but she's also been a member of the netball team and an athlete. So Ms. Thomas comes to us very well-rounded. She has her eyes on becoming a gynecologist, and I'm certain that she will stay focused on her goal of becoming a gynecologist, her devotion to her studies, and her focus on maintaining very high levels of proficiency will see her in good stead, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, so I want to congratulate Ms. Thomas on an award that she is to receive, well-deserved. And we expect a lot from her in the future. But I wish to end, Mr. Speaker, just by indicating that what I heard earlier, that this being the 10th year, and that we've had some 250 remarkable teens who have gone through this program, I think the time may be right for us to drill down on the data and to chronicle these 250 awardees to see where they are today and how far they have lived up to what they would have chronicled in their profiles years ago. And so maybe that is something for the Department of Youth to look into. But Mr. Speaker, I would wish to present Sientanisia Thomas with this small token of appreciation for being one of the 25 most remarkable teens in St. Kitts and Nevis for 2020.
Congrats to Ms. Thomas. Thank you, Minister Grant. Our next awardee is Rodina Da Costa Ms. Laplace will read her profile.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Rodina da Costa, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Spirit of Hope. Inspiration personified is the impression that Rodina da Costa exudes. Da Costa has had an early brush with the harsh realities of life and understands the ebb and flow of the real world all too well. A teen mother at 17, the now 19-year-old maintains that the love she has grown to experience with her daughter gives her the strength to endure much, and she has developed a fortitude that allows her to stand against the tides of motherhood. Sobering is her testimony that God is to be praised amidst it all. On account of her pregnancy, Rodina was not allowed to go to school. The strained relationship with her mother resulted in Da Costa having to turn to employment in an effort to satisfy her circumstances. Rodina has a message of abstinence and courage to young people. Despite the fact that her plan to return to school did not materialize, she is still steadfast and committed to improving her qualifications as a way to advancement. Currently, Rodina is pursuing English and chemistry after work at the CSEC level. Da Costa's plans include becoming a motivational speaker and the best mother that she could be for her daughter. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Ms. Laplace. The Honorable Jonel Powell will present.
Mr. Speaker, again I rise to lend support to these remarkable teens, in this case, Ms. Rodina da Costa. And Mr. Speaker, as we're here this evening recognizing 25 remarkable teens, perhaps sometimes we forget that teenagers are forced to deal with adult situations and they're faced with adult responsibilities. However, it is clear to all, and from reading the profile, that Mr. Costa has stepped up to the challenge and done so in a positive and successful way. I'm reminded of the quote that the greatest accomplishment is not in never falling, but in rising again after you fall. I think you have summed that up quite well. And I think the greatest thing that you can do is to be that positive role model for your daughter. And I use this opportunity to encourage you to continue to fight, continue to do better, continue to be a role model, not just for your daughter, but for others. I note that even in terms of participating in this exercise, for the purposes of your interview, again, adult responsibilities played a role. They was taking care of your daughter during the interview. It worked out. These things will happen. These things will come up. But at the end of the day, remember to stay positive. You are, for us, a true spirit of hope. And we look forward to your future successes. And as Minister Grant says, in 10 years from now, looking to see what milestones you've achieved and what great things you've done for your country. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister Powell. Congrats to you, Rodina. And I trust that your participating here tonight, Odina, will also serve as more motivation for you to strive for all that you wish to achieve going forward. We are proud of you and we wish you the best going forward. Our next awardee is Miss Malia Erskine. And her profile will be read by Mr. Hendrickson.
With pleasure, I introduce Malia Erskine of the Bastyr High School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of academics. With a bright spirit supported by a high standard and an impressive drive to push herself further, Malia is committed to going above and beyond and strives not to disappoint. Her journey to CSEC thus far has resulted in an exceedingly impressive grade 1 in mathematics and EDPM at age 12. This year, Malia anticipates similar successes in information technology, human and social biology, and English A. If her CSEC accolades were not impressive enough, at age 13, Malia is president of the Students' Council and a member of the school's athletic club, the BHS Stormers, and a past runner Victress Ladorium with preferences for long jump and high jump. Member of the St. Kitts Nevis Youth Parliament Association Sniper and level 5 purple belt member of the St. Kitts Shai Toru Karate Do Association are also under Malia's belt. Malia was valedictorian at her primary school, Beach Allen, in 2018, and in 2019 her team won the National Science Quiz. All these accomplishments are alongside her membership with the Synergy Dance Company. Malia advocates for prioritization and focusing accordingly. She wants to give Bastyr High School the best name possible and insists that there is no future in negativity. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, sir. I call on the Honorable Jeffrey Henley to present.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise at this time again to say congratulations to a rising star. We would have just heard her bio, Mr. Speaker, and indeed Malia took on a challenge and she conquered it while waiting on her mother's workplace at the Bastyr High School, where she engaged herself in doing CXC at that early age. Mr. Speaker, anyone who can pass mathematics with a grade 1, and I look at the PS idol smiling at me, it is an awesome accomplishment, and Malia, you are destined for greatness. She also passed EDPM, and you would have heard that she intends to take up 3 more or sit 3 more CXCs at the age of 13. She's also the president of the student council in the Bastyr High School, a school where I think they have almost over 400 students. That is a leader in the making, and she's mixing it. The academics with dance, with athletics, and you heard she has a purple belt, in karate, and she has a dream for the Bastille High School in making it the best school ever, our school, the birthplace of champions. Mr. Speaker, all I would say in closing is that purpose is wrapped up in Malia, and we will hear and read more about her. And I wish her God's covering as she continue to soar like an eagle. Malia, walk with God and walk good. It gives me great pleasure to present my final award in the area of academics to Malia Erskine.
Thank you. Congrats, Melia. Grade 1 at age 12 in math. Absolutely impressive. Mr. Teron Webb is up. Shane Venner will read his profile.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure I introduce Teron Webb of the Charlestown Secondary School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of music. Teron's first stint on the stage began at the Nevis Culturama Festival Junior Calypso competition when he was only 8 years old. He then won 3 times in a row and is currently the Culturama Junior Calypso King. He began competing in St. Kitts at the age of 10 in the St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Primary School Junior Calypso Show. He has won that competition on 3 consecutive occasions and has left his name in the history books as the first primary school competitor to do so. He then graduated to the high school competition in 2018, where he won the crown back-to-back, making him the reigning National Carnival High School King. Webb has the record in St. Kitts with 5 consecutive Junior Calypso monarchs. Teron has also performed in the St. Thomas and St. James Village Festivals and placed first runner-up in the St. James and first runner-up for 4 years in the St. Thomas, winning in the Best Performance category. He has performed in Bermuda in 2017 and in St. Eustatius in 2018, placing first runner-up both times. In 2019, the young Webb was invited to perform at the St. Patrick's Day Festival in Montserrat and the Manchester Carnival and Leeds Carnival in England. Also, before the onset of COVID-19, Webb was also invited to sing at the Carifta Games opening ceremony in Bermuda. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, sir. In the absence of the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, the Honorable Mark Brantley will present.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for what I promised to be the last time, to present this award to this young man, Teron Webb. I confess, Mr. Speaker, it's the first time I've seen Mr. Webb so relaxed, because every time I see him, he seems to be on a stage. He seems to be dancing, singing, full of energy. The profile is interesting because at a young age, Mr. Webb has really conquered the Calypso stage. In Nevis, he has thrice won the Junior Calypso King. In St. Kitts, he won the competition over here also 3 consecutive occasions and would have left his name, as the profile says, in the history books as the first primary school competitor to do so. In the high school or the older category, he has won the crown back-to-back, making him the reigning National Carnival High School King. He has a record, Mr. Speaker, a record of having won in sync its 5 consecutive junior CAISO titles. The profile tells us that young Mr. Webb has actually likes to associate himself with greatness, because it says that he has actually performed with the one and only King Miko. And the song that they chose to perform, Mr. Speaker, was Rough Me Up. And so I am delighted to have this opportunity on this occasion to present this award in the category of music to a young, talented musician, a young Nevisian who has done remarkably well and has been recognized for his feat in calypso and in music as one of the 25 most remarkable teens. Perhaps it is appropriate, Mr. Speaker, that his calypso name is Invincible, because he has demonstrated that any time he hits the stage, he is indeed invincible. Mr. Webb, congratulations, and I wish you continued success in your calypso career and in life generally.
Thank you. Thank you, the Honorable Mark Grantley. Congratulations, the mighty Invincible. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, we are down to our last 3 awardees according to my program. We will now have Miss Cheyenne Tyson to receive her award. Mr. Stapleton, Miss Stapleton, sorry, will present. I'm sorry.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Cheyenne Tyson of the Gingerland Secondary School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Most Promising. Cheyenne is a spirited and multi-talented individual who believes that even though you may lose a battle, you still have a chance at the war. Cheyenne has a glowing academic record, having been able to maintain her place as an A1 student throughout her academic career, being no stranger to the honor roll. At this point, she has successfully sat 2 CSEC subjects attaining grade 1s in both EDPM and English. In both subject areas, Tyson was able to make SKN merit list with a top 10 placement in English. In addition to this stellar record, Cheyenne is a star athlete with preferences for jumping and track. Tyson also debates and has represented her school in both the Culturama Talented Teen Pageant as well as the National Carnival Teen Pageant in St. Kitts. She has served as student body president for the past 2 years and boasts an impressive track record for volunteerism. She is a member of the Youth Parliament and has sat at the Youth Tourism Congress. The Shekinah Dance Theatre is also another place to which Cheyenne calls home. Along with the Hanley's Road Community Development Steel Pan Program, evidently Tyson is an expert at balance. When asked how she copes with such a multifaceted schedule, Cheyenne posited that engagement in extracurricular activities is the way to balance the stresses of academia and teen life. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Ms. Stapleton. The Honorable Eric Evelyn.
Mr. Speaker, it gives me great pleasure to rise again with your leave to make this presentation. And Mr. Speaker, I am particularly pleased to make this presentation. Why? Because Cheyenne is not only from my constituency, but she's from my village. And so I am delighted to be able to make this presentation this evening. It's not very often that you find someone who excels in sports and academics, but it's very evident that Cheyenne has done so. Most of the times I have seen Cheyenne has actually been on the track at the St. George's Recreation Grounds. For the past 5 years, she has been on the track at St. George's Recreation Ground, where every time she's on the track, I am the chief announcer. So I've been always there encouraging her. And one thing I admired most about Cheyenne is the fact that she was always very consistent and persistent. She never gave up. She always finished the race. She was not always in the top 3, but she always finished the race. And that says a lot about a young individual who knows what she wants. She has a very rounded life. And it is obvious that whatever she's doing, she wants holistic development. And I must commend her for that, because it's not very often that some of our young people go for holistic development now. And so she has done well in sports. She has come a very long way from when she would have started. And it is obvious here as well from the profile that she is excellent in academics as well. She has done well. She would have just completed her CXC exams and done extremely well. She is very well rounded. She has done well in pageantry. She's into dance. She's into music. And as I read the profile, I wonder how she does all of this. It is obvious that she is good at time management, and I would hope that she would pass that skill onto many of the other young persons in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so, Cheyenne, it gives me great pleasure to present this award to you as one of the 25 most remarkable teens. And as I said, I am truly proud that you're not only from my constituency, but you're from my village. Congratulations. Keep your head on, stay focused, and go for the stars. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Tyson. Thank you, Minister Evelyn. Our second to last awardee for tonight is Miss Kyle Hanley. Mr. Julian Munzak will present.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure I introduce Kayla Hanley of the Bastia High School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of Courage to Overcome. With a dazzling smile, Kayla has managed to remain caring, responsible, and kind in the midst of much turmoil. At the age of 14, Kayla lost her mom, Kantasha Hanley, to breast cancer. As a result of being unable to bear the loss, Hanley was self-mutilating using broken pencils and razors. Kayla and her sister had to relocate to a new home. Sometime after, she had to relocate again and be separated from her sister. Shortly after, 2 of her family members passed away within 6 months of her mom's passing. Kayla recalls feeling very low and taking out her frustration on others. Instead of repelling from life, Kayla has re-emerged stronger than before. She is an advocate for therapy and encouragement. After her demotion to 3G4, Kayla was motivated to improve her circumstances as her mother was a stickler for good grades. As a result, she worked her way back up to 3G3 at the Bastia High School. 1 month after the death of her mother, she was promoted to 4G3. The fortitude and resilience exhibited by Kayla as she traversed this season is awe-inspiring. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Jillian. The Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, Minister of Health, will present to Kayla.
Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I rise, and I do so feeling honored to be able to present to this amazing and strong young woman who sits here before us, being honored for courage to overcome. Mr. Speaker, when we look through the biography of Kayla, we would see that she has gone through so much in life, but she didn't let that keep her down. And what's amazing to note is that she recognizes her low points, but is able to get herself out of those low points, encourage herself out of it, and continue to persevere. Mr. Speaker, she says that even when she feels that coping with the loss is difficult, she has her ways of dealing with it, which is singing, dancing, and listening to music. Perhaps one day we can hear her beautiful voice and the singing. Mr. Speaker, I want to continue to encourage Kayla. Indeed, your test is nothing more than a great testimony. And I see from your biography that you want to be able to invest in programs for persons with similar situations. And I can tell you, even now, just your story alone and being able to tell that story to others who may be going through the same situation but may not be strong as you are is quite an investment. You don't need to have much to be able to share that story and to be able to help another young person who is going through the same situation that you are. You are a living testimony that no matter what you may face in life, you should be able to overcome that, as long as you continue to understand who you are as a person and what you can contribute as an individual. So I encourage you to continue to be the strong young woman you are. Continue to smile, continue to sing, continue to dance, and do whatever it takes, because I'm sure your younger siblings look up to you even now, and the strength that you show will continue to help them as well to be able to persevere. So, Kayla, I am so honored this evening to be able to present to you this award for the courage to overcome.
Thank you, Madam Minister. Congratulations, Kayla. It's so obvious how sincere the words of the Minister when she said she's so honored to present that award to you. I believe I can speak for each and every member of this National Assembly and all who are here this evening that we too are very honored to be here and to have witnessed you receiving this award. All the best to you, Miss Hanley. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, the last award for tonight, last but of course by no means least, this will be given to Miss, now this is the last name I'm going to call for the night, and I'm going to try my best to call it correctly. I'm going to give it my best shot. It's one of the most difficult names on the program, by the way. Let me study it. I think I'm going to fail, but I'll try. The awardee is Miss Khadija Egan. How did I do? Okay, seems like I did well. Miss Egan. And her profile will be read by Dwayne.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, I introduce Khadija Egan of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, recipient of a Remarkable Teen Award in the category of School Pride. Ms. Egan is the epitome of what it means to be a 20th century student. With an excellent command of the language, complemented by stellar articulation and enunciation, Khadija is a defender of the colloquial country school. She rejects all the negative connotations associated with the term and stands proud as a Charles E. Mills Secondary School Eagle. She boasts that her school has much to offer, and she is willing to showcase the talent within the institution at any opportunity. Early in her school career, Khadija's parents moved to Borio, thank you. To make the transition easier, they suggested that she switch schools. Khadija was adamantly against this idea and could not be dissuaded. Egan recalls the positive experiences of her siblings and declared that to be a SEMS Eagles alumna was her goal. Resultantly, Khadija had to commit to waking up early each morning, journeying to Bastia, then taking a bus from there to SEMS daily. This routine had to again be completed each afternoon to get Egan home. This cycle was a taxing one and could only be motivated by a deep-rooted love and commitment to her school. It is clear that Egan loves being a part of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School family. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. The pleasure is mine to call on the Honorable Prime Minister to make the final presentation on this evening's program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise mindful of the time that one should not tarry long, save it is almost nigh the end of what has been an excellent night in which we have all come to celebrate the remarkable young people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And as we listen to all the stories, 25 of them, they remind us of so many other persons in St. Kitts and Nevis, and how the future of St. Kitts and Nevis in the hands of these 25 and 225 before them now stands stronger and safer. And I remark that we also should take pride in the quality of education that we here in St. Kitts and Nevis have been purveying to our people for an extremely long time. The free education that we have offered our people certainly has paid off. And my mind ran back to a landmark piece of work by one Jacques Delors, who had set the fundamentals of education. He sets out 5 imperatives of learning. 4, then they added 1. Learning to be, learning to do, learning to know, and latterly they added, learning to live together. all 25 who have come to the fore tonight have certainly gone through those stages, and they are not sequential in nature, but they have experienced all of these imperatives through their struggles, and from their struggles they have risen to come to the top. They have been able, as it were, to come in the end, find themselves learning to be, learning to become, and learning to live with the diversity in our society. And in this regard, Miss Khadija Ejen is no exception. She is being recognized tonight for school pride, love for her school, devotion to it, pride in it, and full involvement in it. School days should really be real happy days, so that people want to cling to their school in the manner in which Khadija Ejen would have done. She has a strong and burning desire for the Charles E. Mills Secondary School. And so she would leave Sandy Point, where the best can be, to come to Borio, where the best of the best are. And we want to thank her for making that great crossover. We want to thank her, though, for notwithstanding the trials of a daily routine that would be onerous and the best of us, she would persevere for love of her school. And that tells me that the Charles E. Mills Secondary School must be a school that is delivering on the imperatives of learning that has been set forward in that landmark document somewhere in 2013 or thereabout by Jacques Delors. I want to commend her, though, for the resilience that is noted here in the profile, the hard work, the compassion, the caring, and of course her commitment to service. The fact that she wants to become involved in leading after-school programs to provide assistance to those who need. And she has been a big voice on the student council. So she is pride in school personified. Congratulations, Ejen. And I want to present you again the symbol of our deep appreciation to you, our deep appreciation to your school, and our deep appreciation that in St. Kitts and Nevis, we have such a fine group of young people that we could feel confidence that our country and our people will stand free under their leadership and with their continuing involvement. Let's give Ms. Ejen a special round of applause.
Thank you, the Honorable Prime Minister. Congratulations again to Ms. Ejen. That brings us to the end of the presentation of awards. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Adjournment.
With your permission, I rise and ask that we adjourn sine die.
Announce it.
Remarks to be made by Mr. Pierre Liebert, Director, Department of Youth of Empowerment.
Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, remarkable teens, youth ambassadors, interview panel, parents, supporters, teachers, permanent secretaries, staff, volunteers, supporters, viewers, listeners across the world, good evening. These young people are remarkable. Can I get an amen? They are strong, they're intelligent, they are creative, they're innovative, they are resilient. Can I get another amen? Now, I know that we are in a special sitting of Parliament, but I'm also feeling the church. And I'm also feeling the, should I say spirit? Or I'm feeling driven to invite us to acknowledge that there are also blessings. Blessings in different sizes, shapes, colors, makeups, backgrounds, and the like. And we should all be thankful for the many blessings that we have. Can I get another amen? Pastor, I apologize, I'm not trying to take over your job. But just want to encourage us to continue to be the pillars of strength, support, and guidance that have been successful in bringing these young persons to the positive role models, the positive citizens that they all are and that we all recognize this evening. I want to commend them for their resilience and all the other qualities that we recognize this evening. Thanks to each and everybody that would have been a part of their lives and continue to shape and mold not just them but their peers and every young person that you encounter. As the minister would have pointed out in his opening remarks, it is for us to train them to lead us as we would expect to be led and to take this country forward and for it to be productive, prosperous, peaceful, and all the other great things that we anticipate and hope for it to be. It's in our hands to continue to shape them to take the reins of leadership. I want to thank the many partners that would have been a part of this undertaking this year. There are a lot of things that went into making this happen this year, and I want to commend the many partners: Parliament, the staff at both departments of youth in St. Kitts and Nevis, the church, members of the media who all came together and to ensure that we have a successful evening this evening. And thank you, and continue empowering and supporting our young people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pierre Liebert, Director of Youth Empowerment in the Ministry of Youth Empowerment. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of tonight's proceedings. In closing, I would wish to take this opportunity at the very top to extend a huge thank you to Pastor Ira Penny and his team for allowing us the use of this impressive facility. We worked very nicely along with his team, and in saying that, I speak mainly of Clerk Miss Bodie Thompson and Deputy Clerk Trevelyan Stapleton, who spearheaded the efforts in making the arrangements for and converting this church into a temporary parliamentary chamber, if I may refer to it as that. I think they would have done an excellent job, and commendations are in order. I also want to thank Mr. Sage and the team from ZIZ, who are, of course, our support team here, enabling us to have this ceremony being broadcast via the various means. I thank the Sergeant at Arms and the other support staff for being here this evening and working along with us. And last but not least, I thank the parents, guardians for coming along and giving support to the 25 most remarkable teens. Congratulations again to the 25 most remarkable teens for 2020. This Honorable House stands adjourned sine die.